It is good to see everybody again this morning. I invite you to take your Bible and go with me to the book of Nehemiah, chapter number 2. Nehemiah, chapter number 2. I appreciate the patience through the new announcement video. I know we've got a little bit of sound quality to work out. The end portion of that, and we're going to have several more to come. Miss June Walker's portion, we've been able to incorporate some of our shut-ins, some of our people that have not been able to come be with us in service. And I know that you enjoy hearing from them, and they've got a message. Miss June Walker, I really enjoyed my time spending with her the other day and allowing her to give that testimony. It just really hit home to me the importance of the church to stay in touch. And she's got family support. She's got kids that check on her. But I don't know about you, but I heard a little longing in her voice that just reaching out for somebody to call, for somebody to give her a token of love and appreciation. And the church, that's what we're for. That's the purpose for us. So may that be a challenge to us as we continue to move forward. And looking forward to Bible school. I didn't share. Miss Rita, do you want to give us an update? Your mother, I know, before we get started.
Well, she called last night and she doesn't understand why she can't see anybody. Why she can't go out of her room. She says, all of this lay here with me. But I appreciate all your prayers for her. She's 92 years old. She's doing excellent. She's really excellent today. So I appreciate your prayers. Also, we give you a little update on Grace. He is the 14-year-old that his daddy is firing with my son. He has got brain cancer. He's been fighting this, I think, about 2 years. He seems to be doing better, and then he slides back. Well, he has slid back big time right now. They do an MRI. They started to do medicine, and this family has had more trouble than most anybody I know. His mother also had an aneurysm, and so she has a lot of problems herself with memory. But something has happened to him this week. One of his legs is not working, and he's on a walker. So if y'all will remember that family in your prayers, because in the last 2 years, they have freely showed their faith, and God has showed his love for them, pulling them through each time. This boy has endured more pain than I can imagine. So if y'all will remember Braxton.
Thanks for that. Also remember Brother James. He had a little accident with his hands last week, so he's in the healing process. Brother Steve says he cannot punch a skill saw. And Brother James tell you don't want to punch a router or a planer either. But he's got all of his fingers. He's healing from that, so we keep him in prayer. It is good to see everybody. Just glad to have you with us today. Nehemiah chapter number 2. Before we read, we're going to pick up in verses 17 to verse number 20. A little bit of the history leading up to where we're going to pick up this particular text. The children of Israel they've been returned out of Babylon, and they've been brought back to their own lands. And the Persian monarchy was great in power. Their other adversaries, Greece and Rome, was strengthening in power. And while all of them things took place around them, the book of Nehemiah is given to us as an exposition of a practical observation to the history of and the current state of the Jewish people. And as we look at this today, we can make a practical observation to the history and the current state of Christianity today. And God's people are important to God. They always have been. They always will be. God's people are inspired by God. And he never takes a break, and he never backs off of that. And God's people are absolutely instrumental to the continuance of God's work. And the children of Israel in this day, they had been persecuted, and they had been driven apart, and they had been tried, and they had gone through things that made them wonder about their purpose. But we must remember that God has a purpose for everything that's going to take place. And Nehemiah was not a man that was known for commanding an army. He's not a man that was known for wearing a crown and ruling a nation, so to speak. He was not one that conquered any other country. He wasn't anybody that had a great skill in speaking. He was simply a praying man that loved God. He was serviceable in his duty to what God had called him to do and to the people. And he was interested most in advancing the kingdom of heaven for the cause of Christ. There was two things within the prophet Nehemiah's heart that drove him forward, that motivated him, so to speak. First, it was the works of his heart. And then it was the works of his hands. And if we're not careful, we'll get these backwards. A lot of times we want to be busy with our hands and busy with our feet, and we want our actions to get ahead of where our heart really is. But God desires for his people to get the relationship right in their heart, and then allow our heart to spill out and to begin to drive the actions that we do. The book of Nehemiah relates directly to his concern for God's people. And I hope that we can find a relation today, as God speaks to us in this text, that we can be concerned for the world around us and God's people as well. Nehemiah chapter number 17. In the midst of all of the destruction, Nehemiah said unto the people, well, we could pick it up back. He went to the king. He was the king's cupbearer. He went to the king and he asked permission to go and rebuild the wall. The king could give him permission. And he said unto the people in verse 17, you see the distresses that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach. And then I told them of the hand of my God, which is good upon me, and also the king's words that he has spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and let us build. So they strengthened their hands for his good work. But when Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobiah the servant the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn, and they despised us, and they said, what is this thing that you do? Will you rebel against the king? Then answered I them, and said unto them, the God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore we, his servants, will arise and build, but ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. So the children of Jerusalem, they've been persecuted, they've been separated, they've been returned to their land, their gates, their city, everything has been demolished, it's been torn down, they're still under the rule of this earthly king, and the prophet Nehemiah had a vision from God, and he approached the king in God's time, and he asked permission, and when the king gave him permission, he went and he told the people his vision, and that they would rebuild. And under no circumstance did he back down, and he led the children in the completion of his vision. I ask us this morning, what is our vision? What is our vision? Our vision as a church, and our vision as individual Christians that have individual relationships with God. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father God, I thank you for the day. I thank you again for all that you have done and all that you are going to do. God, I ask that you just keep your hand of protection upon us at this time, that you again allow your Holy Spirit to have freedom among us, to speak to our hearts, and give us discernment and wisdom through your word. Lord, it may not be my message, it's all about you, Lord. It's your message that you would have us to hear. I pray that you just allow it to be heard just as you speak to each heart, that you allow us to receive it and apply it to our lives. And God, we pray again, not out of a vain repetition, but God, if there be anyone in your house that doesn't know you as your Savior, I pray that you will allow them to know how much love you bestowed upon them on the cross of Calvary. Allow them to know that they can come to your saving grace today, they can receive it, and they can have the eternal hope and security of heaven because you died and you paid the price for their sin. Lord, just lead, guide, direct us, be with junior church, children's church as they meet and they worship. I pray that you be with those leaders, be with those students, be with all, Lord. Lead, guide, direct us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Nehemiah had a vision. So we ask the first question, what is a vision? And we can define that, so we can define it as a particular picture that we can see in our mind. A vision may be the ability to imagine an outcome of a particular situation or a particular circumstance. A vision can be a manifestation from God to us concerning a specific affair. But we got to have a vision. And when we relate to a vision in the spiritual realm of life, we can simply say that it is something that God gives you that is divine in nature. And it is from God to you. God has a purpose for us. And his divine purpose will be given to us through our individual visions. Why is it important to have a vision? Well, Proverbs 29:18 tells us, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Now I laughed back about December, and I'm not, gloating by any means. By several churches, and it was all over Facebook. Coming into 2020, they were all setting their vision for this year being 2020, perfect vision for Christ. And I made a comment to one of our other pastors in the association. I said, well, 2020 vision is only in hindsight. And he just laughed. And it was a joke. And I saw him the other day, about 2 weeks ago, and I asked him, I said, hey, is y'all's church motto still 2020? He said, yeah. I said, I bet you didn't see this year coming, did you? He just kind of stopped. No, I didn't. But they got a vision. And they got something that they're working toward. And the issue is that where there is no vision, people are perishing. Church, where there's no vision, people are perishing. Individual Christian, those that have trusted Christ, those that are following Him, do you realize today, without a vision, people around you, people that you know, people that you love, people that you care about, may be perishing. That's what the Bible tells us. Do you have a vision today? Can you think right now what your vision is concerning the work of God? If not, people are perishing. And God has a purpose, and God has a vision for each and every one of us. God has a plan for us, and God says that His plan is very unique for us. It is so unique that we can grasp as individuals the promise that we're given in Jeremiah 29:11. God tells us, therefore, I know the thoughts that I think toward you. Thoughts of peace, not thoughts of evil. Thoughts that will give you an expected end. Do you realize today that God has not only got a calling for you, and God has not only got a vision that He wants you to see in your life, but God has got an expected end? Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like surprises. I don't. I like to plan. I like to know what's coming. I like to see things, and yeah, I've had a couple of good surprises in my life, but the majority of times when things change, it's not for the best. I didn't see that bill coming. I didn't see that breakdown of equipment coming. I sure didn't see that health situation. And do you understand that none of that matters because God has got an expected end that He is working in your life, that He is bringing you to? It's not a surprise ending. It's not one of shock and awe. And we can live our life today looking forward to the future. We can live our life today with hope in the end because it has been given to us by a supreme and a sovereign and a perfect God. You can keep your head up. You can be encouraged. So when we're talking about the vision, and we're going to relate it all back to Nehemiah here in just a few minutes, there's two visions that we see. One is a personal vision, and one is a corporate vision. Let's outline a little bit of the importance of why we should have a personal vision. Well, a personal vision, we've done said, is a vision that God gives us as individuals concerning our personal lives. It does not necessarily encompass any group actions. It may not include, at least initially, anyone else. It is personal. We serve a personal God. And we already understand that God desires to have a personal relationship with us. I've said this before in a little bit of a different context, and we're not going to get political, I promise you here, but the United States of America has got a president. We have for hundreds of years had a president. And that president makes decisions and guidances, we hope and pray, based off the good of the American people. And other countries have got kings. And there's businesses that have CEOs. But we serve a living Savior that is a personal God. And He's not just making decisions that is best for all the world. He has the ability and He has the capability. He has the capacity to make every decision to benefit you and to benefit me. And He serves us on an individual basis, on a personal level. He desires for us to have a personal relationship with Him. He desires for us to be personally dedicated to Him. He desires for us to personally be committed to His calling. And if we want to move forward this year, if we want to become more effective as a church, if we want to become more effective as Christians, we must realize the importance of having a personal vision and why God desires for us to have it. We go back and look at Abraham in the 15th chapter, or Genesis, the 15th chapter, at Abraham. And God used a vision to restate to Abraham what we know today as the Abrahamic covenant. It reminded him that he would have a son and he would be the father of many nations. Samuel received a vision from God in 1 Samuel chapter 3. He was just a young boy, and God told him that judgment was coming upon the sons of Eli. And Samuel took that vision, and he understood the importance of it, and he ran, and he went to the leaders, and he relayed the information, and we know that God continued to speak to Samuel throughout many other years of his life. You go to the visions in the New Testament, think about Zacharias. He had a vision that he was going to have a son. John the Baptist would be born. Joseph, he had a vision. We know Joseph should have probably never married Mary when he found out that she was pregnant, but God gave him a vision, a personal vision, affirming that her pregnancy was of the Lord, and Joseph went forward. He went forward and protected her, and he went forward and he married her, and the Lord continued to speak to him, and he told him to flee Herod, and all the other things that would lead us to Savior. Pilate's wife had a vision. Remember that one? Matthew 27? She had a vision through a nightmare that Jesus was truly an innocent person. And she even sent message to the governor. Ananias had a vision. His vision was from God. His vision from God was to approach Paul of Damascus. The one who had persecuted Christians. The one who had killed probably more people standing for faith. And because of Ananias' faithfulness to his vision, Paul regained his sight. Paul found the truth about those he was trying to kill. Cornelius had a vision. Acts chapter 10. The Italian centurion, he feared the God of the Jews. His vision was that he should go find Simon Peter, and he should listen to his message. And because of his message, Cornelius, the Italian centurion's family, come to know Christ as his Savior. And many others were saved. Peter had a vision. Acts 10. While Peter was up on a rooftop in the land of Joppa, and Peter was praying, God gave him a vision of animals being lowered down, and a voice from heaven telling him to kill them and eat them. The importance in that vision was some were clean and some were unclean. And it served to show Peter that Christians are not bound by kosher law, that God had also died to promote the Gentiles as being clean, and that heaven was open to all, Jew and Gentile, every denomination. That's a vision that Peter had. Paul had many visions that led him through his missionary career. We see John's vision that God gave to him in what we know as the book of Revelation. All of these visions are very important. But I'll tell you this morning, church, your vision is just as important as all of these. Why? Because God has got an expected end. And without it, rest assured that the Bible is true, people are perishing. People are perishing. That's a personal vision. The corporate vision, the church vision. You know, we've got one here. It's about the second paragraph of our church constitution. That's called the didactic vision. And that's good. And that's great. We can get together and we can plan and we can organize and we can say, we as the body of believers at Lakewood Baptist Church, we have a vision of this. But that's not as important as the objective vision. The objective vision of the church is an evaluation of what is actually taking place. Not what we say we want to take place. Not what we plan to take place. But what is taking place among the church. This is what I want to focus on for just a minute. The factual happenings that the church is actively engaged in this morning. Not what we want to happen, not what we hope to happen. Not what we've made plans to happen, but what is taking place as we speak. Just as where there is no vision, the people perish on an individual basis. Proverbs 29:18 came true to the church vision. Where there is no vision, people are perishing. Now, I'm not picking on our church. I'm not picking on any other named church. You know me. When I refer to the church, I'm talking about the saved of God. Those that know Christ as their Savior, not by any local name, those that have surrendered their life to Him and are gathered together. I can tell you today, and it is evident, if you just look and examine, if you just talk to people around you, there's a lot of churches that don't have a vision. And it is evident because the people around them are perishing, and they're not making an impact in the communities that God has called them to make an impact in. The objective vision of the church. How do we find it? Well, I'm going to outline it very simple. Very simple. And this, I promise you, you're not even going to need the waiters for this, Brother Thomas. It's not going to get that deep. Okay? It's real simple. We go back and we look at this passage in Nehemiah. We go back and we see all of these other things. Abraham become the father of many nations. The lineage was carried forward. Zacharias bore John the Baptist. Joseph protected Jesus. Ananias was instrumental in Paul's conversion. Cornelius was instrumental in all of his house and even his land. Peter reached all the world and brought us to where we are today. A church that's got a gospel for every ear and every tongue and every race. For every nationality, for every demographic, for every socioeconomic class, the gospel's the same and it's available. Paul became one of the greatest missionaries in the world. Those corporate visions were manifested by an individual personal vision. It's that simple. How do we as Lakewood Baptist Church become more effective? How do we as a church that has been put together here in Beach Grove this morning become more instrumental in reaching others with the cause of Christ? It requires every one of us to be open, to be willing to God's guidance, to see the personal vision that He places in our life, to begin to cultivate it, to begin to meditate upon it, to begin to search and to build a relationship with God, to be found faithful, carrying out that particular vision. And guess what happens? The corporate objective vision becomes pronounced. And it becomes magnified. And it becomes great. You get what I'm saying? We can write down anything we want to, but actions speak louder than words. And if we want to make an impact, the personal vision is what it is going to require. That's what Nehemiah had. And the city was rebuilt. And the Jewish people, they found encouragement. And they began to grow in the Lord. And they began to prosper in verse number 20. So after all this time, my introduction is over. I'm going to get into my 3 points. But I promise, I'm not going to dwell on the point. How do we find our personal vision? How do we find it? Well, we can pull some of these aspects out of these 4 verses. The first thing that we see is that Nehemiah was at the appointed place that God had him to be. So if you want to discover your personal vision, you need to be at the appointed place that God wants you to be. Hey, that might be different for me than it is for you. It's a personal God, an individual God. Where has God called you to be? I talked with a missionary last week, and he gave his testimony. For 30-something years, he ran, and that he was not where God wanted him to be, and he missed out on a lot of fruit. He missed out on a lot of blessings. And it wasn't until he surrendered to not be a local pastor and a local evangelist to go where he and his wife wanted to set up a residence. When they surrendered and got sent to Bolivia, he said, I finally found blessing. So, you got to be at the appointed place that God wants you to be. Where was Nehemiah? Well, Nehemiah for years served as the king's cupbearer. He had no position of importance. He had no position of authority. When the king got thirsty, guess what he done? Yes, here I am. Here's a cup that's washed. What would you like in it? Here, you can drink this. Okay, you're done. Let me clean. He was at the appointed place. And how does that relate to us? We've got to be where God desires for us to be. If we are doing the things that God has laid on our heart, if we are being faithful to Him, we will know that we are in a place of great trust. It may not be a position of honor and trust before men, but it is the highest position of honor and trust before God. If He's called you to scrub the bathrooms, that's where you're supposed to be. If He's called you to preach at this building, that's where you're supposed to be. Wherever He spoke to you, whatever He said, just be there and to know that you are at a place of faithfulness, in a place of honor, in a place of profit with the Lord. God has been working in our lives, and if He has called us to do something, just do it. That's what Nehemiah was doing. Nehemiah was attentive to the burdening that God had given him. If you go back and look in chapter 1 and verse number 3, you'll see where the people told Nehemiah that the remnant, all that was left in the captivity and the providence, were in great affliction, and they were in a great reproach. And they were telling him that the wall of Jerusalem is broken down and the gates are burned with fire. Can you imagine the burdening that took place in his heart and in his life? It had to be great. So I ask you today, applicable in the world that we live, are you burdened for society around us? Are you burdened because of the culture? Not just Tennesseans, Americans. I'm talking about the culture and the burden. Are you burdened by where our world is? If so, God may be speaking to you, and God may be bringing you to your place of your personal vision. Be where you're supposed to be. Be attentive to God's burdening. And when you find those two things, and when those two things get lined up, you can begin to develop the vision. Develop the vision, just like Nehemiah developed it. chapter 1 and verse number 3, we hear him learn of all of the destruction. And in chapter 1 and verse number 4, we see that he sat down, he wept, and he mourned, and he fasted, and he prayed before the God of heaven. So, we develop our vision by first and foremost falling on our faces and falling on our knees before the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings and asking for his help. Not picking up arms and defending ourselves. Not picking up blueprints and pencils and papers and making plans, but by just simply pressing pause within our life and dropping to our knees and saying, God, we need your help. God, will you guide us? God, will you intervene? God, will you allow us to see what you want us to do? I ask if you've been burdened lately. Let me ask you this. When was the last time when we have truly wept for God? Now, I'm not talking about when we cried because we got caught doing something. I'm not talking about when we got blindsided by an unexpected event that took us by surprise and emotion. I'm talking about the weeping that Nehemiah wept and mourned for the people in developing his vision. When's the last time for certain days, not just a 30-minute prayer or a few days, but when's the last time for certain days that we have earnestly prayed to the God of heaven, concerned about a burden that he has given us? When we fall on our knees, God will begin to unveil the plan before us. Nehemiah strategized. He strategized through prayer. And Nehemiah waited from Kislev till Nisan, the Bible tells us, which is from November till March, to approach the kingdom. And when God's timing was right, Nehemiah knew it. Why? Well, we can go back and look chapter 2, verses 2 through 10. We won't read it for the sake of time right now. But Nehemiah, there was something different about it. He was serving. He was being the king's cupbearer. And one day, when God said, okay, Nehemiah, it's time. Let me tell you how much Nehemiah had to do. He just done his job. And he went into the king one day and he gave him his stuff and he went to leave and the king said, now, hold up there. What's wrong with you? Something ain't the same. And Nehemiah, probably in his head, subliminal, he probably said, all right, Lord, thank you. Well, I'm burdened to you because of our land was tore down. Can I just ask permission to go rebuild? And the king said, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. What am I saying, church? We make a lot of visions. We make a lot of plans. We make a lot of strategies, but sometimes we just need to fall down on our knees. Sometimes we just need to seek God's face. And sometimes we just need to keep going faithfully. And when God opens that door, he'll make it clear to us, and we won't have to worry about writing the plan. All we'll have to do is fulfill the plan and be faithful to what God has called us to do. So, we've discovered it. We're where we're supposed to be. We're burdened. We've developed it by falling on our knees and waiting on God to give us the plan. The only thing we've got left to do is deploy. It'll work. Make it happen. Nehemiah didn't hesitate. Nehemiah, as soon as he got permission, he ran right back to verse number 17. He said, hey, see the distress that we are in? Look at how our city lies in waste. Look at our gates, they're burned. Oh, we're not going to be able to approach no more. He told them what God had done for him. He told them what the king had spoken to him. And he said, let's go. Get up. Let's go build. Let's go build. Now, that's a great story. It's a story of truth. A truthful account of God's word. The church, even though we do all things, even though we've got a vision, and we followed all these things, and our vision comes together, and we come to the point of getting up and marching forward and doing the work, let me tell you, there's going to be those that are going to oppose you. There's going to be those from within that are going to stand against what you desire to do. And we can draw from this a simple conclusion. He said, God, give me a vision. God developed my vision. God told me to deploy it. That's what we're going to do. I like how he closed out chapter 2. He just reminded them, the God of heavens, he will prosper. Therefore, we as his servants are going to rise up and build. You won't have any portion. You won't have any right. You won't have any memorial in Jerusalem. You can do what you choose. But Nehemiah, kind of in a different set of words, uttered the words of Joshua when Joshua said, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Nehemiah's personal vision gave the corporate vision to the children of Israel. And he gave them hope. And I hope you see this morning how God can matriculate a personal vision into a greater good. His desire is to matriculate your personal vision into our personal good, or our corporate good. God is still working today. He's still alive, and he's still on the throne. The question is, will we surrender our lives to him? Will we take the most minimal things that he places before us? Will we take them serious? Will we take them to heart? It's not a level of importance. It is simply, will you hear the small, still voice of God? And when you hear it, will you allow him to speak to you? And will you be faithful to follow him? Brother Buck and Spurgeon will come and lead us in a time of invitation. A song that is fitting, only trust him. Only trust him. And Nehemiah had his personal vision. Nehemiah trusted in God. If we want to see increase, if we want to see our church make a bigger impact, a bigger footprint for Jesus in the remainder of this forsaken year, all we got to do is find our personal vision. Be where God has told us to be. Allow our burdens to go before him. Fall on your knees in prayer. When God opens the door, go to work. Let's go to work. I don't know how God has spoke to you this morning. I just pray that he spoke to you. Will you just give attention and invitation? Will you allow yourself to do whatever is waiting now? I'll pray for the brother, lead us. Come as you see fit. Spend time in prayer and the Lord at the altar. Spend time in your seat. Just make sure, I beg, to not leave. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I thank you for the day. I thank you for everything that you've done. Lord, I thank you for the vision that you've given us up to this point. God, I pray that you continue to allow us to see your vision, things that you would have us to do. Allow us to understand the importance of each one of us. God, no one of us is more important than the other. For you've given us all a vision. And God, that's what makes up the greater vision of this church. Lord, I pray that our vision is focused on seeing souls saved, seeing people come to know you as a Savior. And God, that is the most important thing for eternity and the hope of heaven lies in your shed blood shed on the cross of Calvary. But God, I pray that you just allow each one of us to come closer to you. Allow us to surrender anything that's on our hearts to you. God, just allow us to walk forward from this place today, knowing that we've been touched and that we'll never be the same. Lord, we love you. We thank you.